Honey, do we really need to go to this thing? I asked, pushing the backing onto my overly jeweled earrings. I slipped on my 6-inch heels on my already aching feet. I never liked parties, and one as lavish as this one really turned my stomach. Stephen's boss had invited us, though, and he refused to go without me. I just didn't want to fight about it. I sighed, sliding into our silver Impreza. Stephen picked up on my bad mood and smiled that lopsided smile I fell in love with. He reached over and squeezed my hand as if to say it would all be okay. Babe, if you really don't want to do this, we'll make it fast, okay? We can just stay for a drink or two and then we can just take off. It'll be fine. I nodded, trying to ease the swarm of nervous butterflies fluttering around in my stomach. The drive was quiet. I wished Stephen would have kept talking to me instead of letting silence fill the car. I was stressed, and normally he would reassure me a little more than it's okay. But things have been difficult between us lately. I loved my husband, but, well, you know how it goes. Things cool off after a while. It's just what happens. Stephen abandoned me almost immediately. I was irritated, but this wasn't really unusual when he wanted to do something I didn't. I walked over to the bar and prepared to settle in for a long evening of fat middle-aged men hitting on me. It wasn't fun, but I tried my best not to complain. These functions were important to Stephen's job, and if you make a fuss, you don't get invited. So while he was chatting up some old guy smoking a cigar, I ordered a drink. I drank deep and relished in the warm glow it made in my belly. I forced a smile and let the familiar burn ease my tense muscles. A pretty blonde and an aging bald man sat on either side of me. I tried to keep my eyes forward and ignore all the people around me. "What's a pretty thing like you doing here?" the blonde purred. She laughed as the bald man sighed and went off, probably find other women to harass. "I'm here with my husband, Stephen." I scanned the crowd and didn't spot him. I shrugged. "He's around here somewhere," I smiled politely. "What about you?" "Me? Oh, I don't know. I like parties. It's a lot more fun than paperwork." She put her finger in front of her lips to shush me. She laughed. Her voice sounded like the tinkling of silver bells. We chatted for a while about our relationships, our jobs, our families. Finally, we settled on our first date questions. You know, those silly questions you ask to fill the silence. Anyway, we were reaching the bottom of our lists and the bottom of our glasses. And she ordered us another round. I thanked her and smiled. You know what would be fun? We should ask each other the worst first date questions anyone has ever asked. She smiled. "I'm game." "Oh, I got one. What do you think people taste like?" "Oh man, that's a bad one," I laughed. "I think mine's creepier though." "Oh yeah?" "Yeah, so this one guy, a long time ago before Stephen, asked me if I knew what it felt like to kill someone. Can you imagine someone asking that? It was crazy. I ended the date right there. That guy was clearly Creeper City. She smiled and downed the rest of her glass. "No, I don't know what it feels like, but I'm about to." My face fell and my stomach dropped. She put her hand on mine reassuringly. "Don't worry, sweetheart. I like you. You can be my first." I wasn't her first, though. The bartender had been listening to our conversation, and he was just a little quicker. The shot hurt my ears. It was so loud that I thought my eardrums were going to burst. But it was over pretty quick. Her pretty face exploded into fine pink-red dust, and I was drenched in blood. I just wish Stephen hadn't picked that moment to come up. The second shot hit him in the chest. This has been the worst Christmas party